The richest man who ever lived was African. The first Christians were African, and one African king once conquered Egypt. These are the empires they never taught you. Long before Europe built its cathedrals, long before colonial maps redrew the world, Africa had already produced some of the most powerful, wealthy, and sophisticated civilizations in human history. Today we're looking at six of them. Six empires, six stories. Let's begin. Mali Empire, 1235 to 1600 AD. At its peak, the Mali Empire was the richest place on earth. Its ruler, Mansa Musa, was so wealthy that when he traveled to Egypt in 1324, he gave away so much gold he crashed the Egyptian economy for a decade. Mali controlled the trans-Saharan trade routes, gold and salt flowed through it like water. Without Mali, the concept of African wealth would have been erased from world history. Mansa Musa proved that the richest human being who ever lived was African. Benin Kingdom, 1180 to 1897 AD. Long before Europeans arrived, the Benin Kingdom had paved roads, a sophisticated legal system, and artists producing bronze sculptures so advanced that when Europeans first saw them, they refused to believe Africans had made them. The Oba of Benin ruled one of the most organized states in the medieval world, right here in present-day Nigeria. Without Benin, the world would never have known that Africa had mastered metallurgy and statecraft centuries before colonization tried to convince everyone otherwise. Songhai Empire, 1375 to 1591 AD. The Songhai Empire swallowed what was left of Mali and became the largest empire in African history. Timbuktu, one of its cities, was home to a university that attracted scholars from across the Islamic world. It wasn't just powerful, it was educated. Without Songhai, the University of Timbuktu and its 700,000 manuscripts, one of the largest collections of written knowledge in history, would never have existed. Kingdom of Kush, 1070 BC to 350 AD. Kush was so powerful it once conquered Egypt. Yes, Africans ruled Egypt. The Kushite pharaohs formed Egypt's 25th dynasty, and they ruled it for nearly a century. Kush also developed its own writing system, Meroitic script, which we still haven't fully decoded. Without Kush, we lose an entire chapter of Egyptian history, and the proof that Africa's intellectual tradition predates the modern world by millennia. Aksum Empire, 100 to 940 AD. Aksum was one of the four great powers of the ancient world alongside Rome, Persia, and China. It controlled trade between the Mediterranean and India, minted its own coins, and became one of the first empires in history to adopt Christianity as a state religion in 330 AD before most of Europe. Without Aksum, Ethiopia would not be the only African country to successfully resist European colonization, because it was Aksum's legacy of sovereignty and military strength that made that resistance possible. Great Zimbabwe, 1100 to 1450 AD. Great Zimbabwe was a city built entirely from stone. No mortar, no cement, just precision. Over 18,000 people lived there at its peak. When European explorers first found the ruins, they spent years trying to credit other civilizations for building it. They were wrong. This was Shona engineering. Without Great Zimbabwe, southern Africa loses its greatest proof that indigenous Africans built complex, thriving civilizations entirely on their own terms, no outside help required. Six empires. Six civilizations that built universities, mastered metallurgy, conquered neighbors, and traded across continents long before the world was told Africa had no history. Now you know better. These weren't just African stories. They were human stories, and they deserve to be told. Which empire surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments below. And if this video taught you something new, you know what to do. See you in the next one.